Well, welcome everybody. Great to have you all with us for the Schoodic Bay Zoom meetup this evening. And I know Alice is going to try to hop on here for a little bit. She was tied up with a little grandbaby that she's hanging out with this afternoon. But it is so nice to see everybody. And before I forget this week, like I forgot last week, Kristen says hello to everybody. And I forgot to mention that she and Miranda are at the shop right now where I just left, and it's knit night there. So they were like, happy Zooming, say hi to the Zoomers for us. So there we all are. Awesome. Well, I'm going to suggest that maybe folks mute for now, and then we can just sort of like maybe take turns checking in. And if you've got a question, either raise your hand on the Zoom or give me a wave up here if you've got a burning question. But would love to just hear how folks are doing with this. Hello, Mary Ellen Mulhern.
Hi. I kind of hit a snag.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm doing the Kathmandu, and I got to the body part. The body is pretty much, wait, that's the wrong way.
Oh, nice.
But it's not long enough. It's not,
Yep.
it's 9 inches, and it should be like 11 and a half or something. So I emailed Alice this morning, and I assume she'll get back to me. And I don't want to do anything until.
So you haven't done any shaping decreases yet? So it's the perfect time to just keep going. Just keep going in pattern and make it as long as you care to make it. Just know that you're going to be, as we talked about last week, you're going to want to knit up to however many. When you get into that part about your decreases at the underarm, that's where we were talking about if you wanted to figure out what your vertical row gauge actually is and look at your pattern. I mean, for my size, the size 40, it was about 10 rows over the course, with the decreases that I was performing at that underarm. And so for me, I measured my vertical gauge, and that was like, I don't know, 1.5 inches, something like that. So I just, as I was looking and eyeballing this space underneath my armpit, I was just sort of in my mind estimating that little bit of area where I would be adding vertical length during the decrease pattern. Does that make sense?
Well, I'm not really sure, because I did for the where my pattern is, but I did the number of rows and everything that she said to do. And then for the sizes, some of them have another round. Mine doesn't. And when you get to the point that I'm at, it's supposed to be 1.5 inches shorter. Am I not reading it right? The pattern?
Right. So you're still in the body. You haven't done any decreases.
Correct.
And so you have the ability at this very, very moment to just continue on in your pattern as you have been working for as many more inches as you feel like you need.
Okay. So I just keep
going until about 1.5 inches before the underarm. Yep, exactly right.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yes, great question to kick us off, Mary Ellen. It looked like, let's see, Mona might have their hand raised.
I'm always going to be hello, everyone. I'm always going to be a question asker. This is Gary. I saw somebody had a move it, Gary. Ugh. So I'm really liking the pattern. This is as far as I've gotten so far.
Gorgeous.
I really like it. I'm sure everyone else is finding the same thing. I think my question is, like on page 5, so mid body, right front, back. Actually, below are the directions that we're to follow, correct? I mean, that's how. I mean,
Yeah.
it's more like an explanation of what you're doing next, and here's the rows, right? Okay. And
Yep.
I'm probably the same place as Mary Ellen was. The last 2 paragraphs on that page.
Yes. Yep.
So this is where I'm gonna check the length. So I'm gonna keep knitting. Let's see. The very end of the second paragraph, where it says ending with a row 2 or 4. Those numbers there, what are those? Inches? 28, 20.
So if you continue reading, you'll see those numbers in parentheses, which correspond to the size that you're making, and then the word rows. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So we just continue that, and the pattern is row 1 to 4. Okay.
Yep.
And then we would continue that for the mid-shaping body, depending on how the length looks.
Right. So before you do your mid-shaping body part, you would want to do a little measurement roughly, and it really helped me to have my sweater on a barber cord. We've talked about barber cords before.
Okay.
And it really helped because then I could I could have it unstretched completely, and I could sort of put stitch stoppers on the very ends of my needles, and I could really hold it up and look at my side in the mirror, and it was a nice way to get a sense of what was happening there.
Okay, great. We probably went over this kind of last week, but now that I'm in it, it helps clarify as I'm going forward. So I do hope it was helpful for someone else.
Well, I was about to say, everybody's question probably is going to help somebody else, or solidify that they've understood it correctly or answered the question for them. So thank you for that, Mona.
Okay, thank you very much.
Awesome. Lori was asking, what was that cord that you put the sweater on? It's called a barber cord, and I will drop a link to barber cords into the chat. It's this cool little piece of silicone that's a hollow tube. The tins come in a pack of 3, and you get one that's quite long for with a nice round big size body, and then you've got a couple of shorter ones maybe for sleeves, and I just can't live without them. I now own 2 because you know, you can't just have one sweater going, can you? Yeah, classic. So I will find that link for you, Lori, so you can take a look at them on our website. Yeah. Let's see, it looks like Alice is here. Hi, Alice.
Hi, everyone. I was just going to put myself on mute.
Well, you can just say hello and maybe tell us where you just were, or who you're with.
I was just with actually a very special person in my life, my granddaughter. So she just left. So I'm tuning in now. So she's quite the helper with yarn.
Awesome. Well, I told everybody that you were busy with a very important person. Yeah. Let's see, do we have any other questions popping up for anyone? Oh, Bev wants to know what Alice is working on.
I'm working on multiple projects actually at the moment. I have a new hat design that's going to be coming out probably Monday or Tuesday. Yes. Actually, if people want to see it, I'll grab it so you can get a sneak peek of it. Yes. And then I'm working on multiple other things. I have a cable design pullover in progress. So yeah, there are quite a few things on the needles and in process, as well as some projects that a little person maybe picked up for me to do too.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on getting those new designs out. As you know, everybody here on the Zoom, Alice is really one of our shop favorites, and we're just constantly showcasing her amazing designs, not just Schoodic, but she's got some really fantastic shawls out there. The windswept boomerang, I think it must be one of our top selling patterns. It's awesome. Yep. And look there, Bev has, is that the full heart? Yep. Full heart crescent is a gorgeous one. And anyway, so we've got Alice's designs all over our shop, and it's just so fun to be able to talk to folks about your patterns, Alice. All right, let's see. We've got Lori with the hand up.
Yeah, I think a quick question. I am getting ready to start the mid body right front, back, and left, and I was just wondering if you could explain to me a little bit about maintaining the M4, M5 side markers. I'm not quite sure how to do that, and I've not necessarily haven't really done that in the past.
So you are at what page are you on again? You're on
page 5, and it's just getting ready to start the mid body.
Yep. So
you want to help that one?
Yeah, Alice, you want to field this one?
Absolutely. So the side markers are actually just along the literal sides. And I do find that they're helpful to keep in place. Just when, have you done the mid-body shaping? You have not done that yet, correct?
No.
We're going to keep them in place because they're going to be a good guide for you for when you start doing the mid-body shaping.
Okay, so is that, so I just put the marker right when I, at the end? Where do I put them? That's where I'm not clear. Where do I put these markers?
So earlier in the pattern, actually, there's a setup row. I don't have the pattern right for me, but it actually tells you sort of place marker 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think it's like on, is it page 4 or 5? Or?
It's page 5. It's page 5. Yep.
Yeah. So it tells you, where to kind of put the markers. And the recommendation for that is, to have the markers in place until sort of you start getting the vertical, I call them vertical columns, so to speak, of texture, moss, and then the, stockinette and the double moss. Once those get established, it's fine to take the markers out if you prefer, but the side markers I do recommend because actually the sweater construction is a little bit different. Those mid-body markers actually are where you're going to actually be doing some shaping to help with the opening up the V that comes to the front.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Yes. So I did bring just while I'm still interrupting the group. This is a sneak peek. So this actually will be up at the Cashmere Goat. This is, so someone wanted a beginner hat class. So I said, well, why don't I design a little beginner hat pattern? And of course I can't do anything just plain because it's more fun to put texture in. So I designed this, and it is actually called the Pack Monadnock hat. And it is going to come in sizes for everyone in the family or your friends from baby up to adults size. So that will be at the shop. And I know you mentioned, Iris, about the cottage rose recently. So this pattern actually is also going to be up at the shop in a couple of weeks. If not, I can get Rachel to drop it back. So this is cottage rose, which is made with, I don't know if you can see it so well with the camera and the lighting here, but this is another design that is a one skein wonder, which sometimes I just like to do one skein and you can kind of wrap it around and just call it a day, or you can wear it down. It gives a little pop of color, but you can kind of play with it and wear it lots of different ways. So that will be coming to visit the shop. It was just getting a quick little back before it was visiting.
Yay! We're excited to have it. I was just speaking with someone today. I was like, windswept boomerang is great because it's sort of, like pretty easy breezy, great for vacation knitting, great for when you're chatting, hanging out knitting. And then we've got the full heart crescent, which is like, yeah, you've got to pay more attention, but it's not like crazy, crazy town, but it's, you're more attentive. And I was like, and then there's a cottage rose, which is like in between, a little bit more paying attention, but not so much lace. So anyway, we're excited.
Yeah. Great. Perfect.
Let's see. It looks like Jenny might have a question. Hi, Jenny.
Okay, I'll mute myself. Am I not muted? I can never tell.
You are unmuted. We can hear
Great.
you.
The first of all, love it. It's coming along great. I'm up to doing the front, but do you see where I did the decreases? I've got ladders and I don't, is that gonna come out when I do the arm? Like when I do the sleeves or?
So I can tell you that I have, well, let me just like, and you answer next, Alice, but I have similar, it's like, you can definitely see, and that's exactly on the same side on mine in the shop. I have a little bit of like a tiny bit of a space. And I mean, it must just be how I did perform my decreases on that side.
Okay.
After blocking, I didn't really notice it so much, and like, nobody's really looking. But Alice, what do you have to say about that?
So two things. One is it looks like it was like a little bit loose when you were doing those decreases. I sometimes find giving it an extra little bit of a tug before you do those stitches, not too hard, but just to snug it up. If, however, after blocking it, you still are finding, sorry, the lighting is weird in this room today. If you find that it is still problematic after you block, you can do, there's on my Instagram, there's duplicate stitch.
Okay.
And that is another neat way to close up anything that sort of looks gappy, because that would drive me crazy personally.
Yeah, I've tried to sort, but Patty Lyons, I've done a lot of her stuff, and she has a different way that she does left and right decreases, so that it's supposed to make it tighter, and it made it looser this time. Didn't realize it till I went just to the back, you know.
I see.
Like,
did you do the SSP?
I did. Well, did SSP and SSK, and I said, well, and the Pearl versions of it, and you know, she's like, oh, and this is going to make it better, and it's not going to be loose, and it's not going to look that, and I'm like, yeah, not so much. So
okay,
I'm not ripping it back.
Yeah, no, I would fix it with maybe a duplicate stitch kind of situation if you need to down the road. But did you follow the video that I had included or no?
Yeah.
You did.
After you do the shoulder, it doesn't show as much.
Thank you. I was thinking by the time you put the arm, you know, the sleeves in, you probably tighten it up a little bit there.
After I did the shoulders, it doesn't look as much. Whoops.
Yeah, if you give it a little bit of a snug,
Yeah, okay.
I think help with, you know, any of those. It's sort of like, do you do magic loop? I always find with my stitches, when you do magic loop, you need to make sure that you do those first, but not just the first, also the second stitch, just a little bit snugger to tidy it up.
Okay, thanks.
Since we're talking about this, Alice, what did you say about duplicate stitch? And is there a video, or did you say something about Instagram?
Yes. So I'm Birch Tree Knitting on Instagram, which actually a couple of my designs use the duplicate stitch for, like my Blueberries in Winter hat and Blueberry Jam hat for kids. I actually use duplicate stitching for it. So if you look on my Instagram feed and you look for blueberries or something along those lines, you'll see my little video for duplicate stitch.
Okay, I don't do Instagram, but
okay.
There's lots of there's also lots of videos online too, if you like. Yeah,
on my YouTube too. Do you do YouTube at all?
I do YouTube. Okay,
it's on my YouTube. If not, it will be. It may not be yet, as I say that, but eventually it's slow building, but eventually it will be on my website too.
Okay, thank you. I didn't mean to interrupt the other.
No.
And Alice, once Alice gets her duplicate stitch video, if we're sure that's on YouTube, I can add it right into Schoodic Bay KAL YouTube playlist as well, so it will live there and will be a quick reference. Thank you. Thanks for that. Looks like Barbarina has a hand raised.
Hi there. I am the queen of swatching, and normally I have such good experiences with swatching, and I did an initial swatch and on the needle specified, and I didn't like the fabric. It felt just kind of too loosey-goosey to me, and I used Arroyo by Malabrigo, and when I wet it and blocked it, it just spread like taffy. So then I did a smaller size. I liked the fabric. It was definitely a much smaller gauge. I did a bunch of math. I did a first version, and it was just way too big. So I'm doing my third swatch on 2 different sets of needles, and I'm just wondering, maybe the pairing of Arroyo, me, and this sweater is not meant to be. I'm just wondering if anyone's had an experience of like creating a fabric they liked, but it's just too far off from the gauge.
I think, yeah, that the Arroyo, for some people, I think it could be challenging. It's definitely more of a sport weight yarn. And the pattern calls more for a DK weight, but it actually trends more toward DK like worsted, as opposed to DK towards sport weight yarn. So I can imagine that it might be a little bit tricky. I do think probably if you needed to adjust needle size, but the pattern was designed for 8s and 9s. So it is a looser gauge anyway, but it is one of those sweaters that, without a lot of extra math, switching over to a sport weight yarn might take a little bit more time to figure out the size that might work well for you. You might have to go up a couple of sizes to get it, but and go down on your needles.
And I'm hearing that, I mean, it's got this lovely drape, so normally I would be a little bit squinty-eyed about having such a, sleazy fabric. Maybe it's all good. I don't know. I'm not super inspired to do a 4th swatch.
Yeah, no.
Another yarn.
Yeah, no, I would join in that. I might myself consider using a different yarn if you have other things in your stash.
Oh, I have other yarn. Okay.
And that beautiful green will be something beautiful in green in perhaps another incarnation.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And as we were building our sort of collections for this sweater, like Arroyo was a little bit of a later addition, and I'm wondering if that was a mistake now, because actually somebody was doing hers.
I didn't see
the what?
Was it? I didn't even notice that it was in the list.
It was a later addition to the list. And like it makes when I was looking at somebody who came to the in-person knit along last weekend, Kat, and she made that beautiful hers is in Rios, which is the worsted, and that was looking fine, and so it's just, I feel like maybe Arroyo is workable for some folks but not for everybody. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
Rios kind of more is light worsted too. So yeah, I think Rios probably would work fine.
Yeah.
But the Arroyo too light.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
No.
All right. Next up, it looks like we've got Tracy. Hi, Tracy. Oh, you're muted right now. Should be, if you like move your mouse around towards the bottom of your screen, there should be a little menu that pops up for you. Mute is over on the left-hand side. That's interesting because it's actually showing me that I have the ability to mute you, which shows me that maybe there's something up with your sound audio right now. So I would suggest, Tracy, if you want to leave the Zoom and come back into the Zoom just to see if that resolves the audio issue. Sometimes that helps. Okay. So yeah, see if you can pop out and pop back in, okay? And we'll get your question answered. Anybody else have something on their mind right now? Actually, I don't usually do this, but I just have to say, Teresa, hi, we missed you last week. Do you feel like you want to show us what you're up to with your Schoodic?
Hi there. One second.
And you're wearing your Onkers shirt and my favorite overalls. Oh my gosh, style icon right here.
Rocking it.
All right. So I've been kind of breezing through this really. It's been kind of addictive, and I've had a lot of meetings this week, and I can't sit still in meetings unless I'm doing something with my hands. So I just split off for the right front, back, and left front. Yeah, it's
Will
going
you
well.
hold it up a little closer and hold it still so we can try to get that in focus? And what is your yarn?
I'm using the Neurokakagori, I think it's called.
Nice.
Yeah,
beautiful.
It feels lovely. So I'm excited.
Perfect for your warm climate that you live in.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks. I don't like to make people feel nervous, like to cold call them, but I felt like I could do that with Teresa.
Yep, all good.
Let's see, anybody else have thoughts, questions, things to share?
Where's everyone from?
Yeah.
Oh, we could. Yeah. So actually, Pat, I saw your hand. So why don't you unmute and tell us where you're from? And if maybe after we hear from you, we can move around the group a little bit and hear from other folks too about where they're from.
Okay, I'm from Maryland. And I have made quite a bit of progress. I don't know if I can get this back far enough. So I'm just about finished.
Wow. Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
I'm working on a sleeve. I had to stop because my sister-in-law has gone out of town and I need her arm to make sure where I'm supposed to start the band, to make sure I don't make it too long or too short. I will say that on my underarm decreases, let's see if I can get this closer. You can see once I added the sleeve, that area kind of closes up.
Okay, yep.
And it looks pretty decent. The one on the other side that I haven't done yet is still a little bit laddery, just a little bit. Not bad. See it?
Yes.
But once you pick up the stitches for the sleeve, it closes up. So be encouraged. I think it'll be fine.
Oh, Pat, I love that. That's like my favorite ever. Be encouraged. Pat thinks it's going to be fine.
That's going to be fine. You just bring those little stitches up to pick everything up for the sleeve and it'll all come together and be just fine. So that's as far as I've gotten. Since I'm waiting for her, I started my other one. But I've got it packed because I'm leaving tomorrow on a trip. And I'm taking it with me. So
and this is the one for you, right?
For me, yes. Made from the what was that yarn I bought?
It's the fleece BFL in fossil, just like Alice is making.
It's lovely yarn. I'm just thrilled with working with it. So I'll maybe have another report next week. I'll be driving next week on Wednesday coming home, so I'm not sure that I'll be checking in. But if I do, I'll show you how far I get.
Very cool. Thank you, Pat.
Yeah.
All right.
Excellent.
Looks like Lori. Lori, why don't you unmute and then tell us where you're from?
Yeah, I just wanted to give kind of a shout out to you all in Camden because I'm from Ashburn, Virginia, which is outside Washington, D.C. And I went up to Maine with my daughter for a girls' trip. And we spent one night in Camden and discovered your store right behind the hotel. And I bought a hat pattern from you, which I made and I love. And I just got all excited about knitting again. So thank you.
Aw, that's super great to hear, Lori. Thank you. That means so much. All right, I see Tracy's back in. Tracy, let's give this unmuting a go here. Oh, still can't hear you. Is it a question you could put into the chat, Tracy? Okay, dang. Anybody else feel like, while we're waiting for Tracy's question, feel like doing a little intro, sharing where you're from? Looks like I see Mona with hand raised.
I'm from Colorado. So I think during the pandemic, I find Zoom knit-alongs, classes, everything so beneficial because I kind of live rurally, so it's nice not to have to drive anywhere. So
awesome.
Great.
So thank you. And I even learned how to needle felt from somebody in Canada. So it's and Pittsburgh. So it's been fun. So good luck, everyone.
Thanks, Mona. Let's see, I think Susan, you got your hand raised. You want to introduce and ask a question, maybe?
Actually, I don't even have a question. Whoops. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have a question. I was just going to say, hey, from New Orleans. And my daughter came. So my daughter came to at least one of the, I think maybe the kickoff.
Yeah.
With you guys. So that was Kelly. Her name's Kelly Brignac. She came from Waterville to see y'all.
Nice. Oh yes, Kelly. Kelly teaches at Colby, right?
Yes. That's my girl.
Yes.
That's my girl. I wish I lived there. I wish I lived there. I miss her. We could knit together.
Well, that's what she was saying. She said that you all are both the same size. So, you can like, okay, what size are you making? Okay, I'll make that size too.
Yes. And y'all, I have to tell y'all, she is, so I kind of barely taught her to knit. I was a very new knitter at the time, and she is leaps just light years ahead of me now. And like her knitting skills and what she does, she is just taken off with it. I'm so grateful that she has just like a community out there to, a community of knitters. We really don't have that here in New Orleans much. It's hot here.
Well, the good thing you have us here on Zoom.
Yes, I'm very grateful to you guys. Very. Thank you.
Lots of ways to connect. So I'm just gonna pop in before we move to Diane. I see your hand. I want to answer Tracy's question. Poor Tracy, frustrated because of the muting, but what she's trying to figure out is, where do I see what the measurement should be before doing the mid body shaping? At the bottom of page 5. So at the bottom of page 5, mid body shaping to open for the V-neck will require, and then it gives you numbers, and that's the inches of depth that you would want to account for as for your shaping. So I said at the beginning, my mid-body shaping, I think I performed over 10 rows. So I looked at my gauge and I kind of figured out my vertical gauge there, and I double checked it against the pattern to be sure that my gauge and the pattern were speaking the same language. And so I kind of estimated my body length based on just subtract 1.5 inches from my underarm. And Alice, do you have anything to add to that little answer?
No, I think that that's perfect. And if you hold it up against yourself and sort of factor in that, whatever it is, inch or whatever, and have the texture kind of at about where your waistline is, that's how it was designed. And you know, some people I know may have different shorter torsos or longer torsos, so that's a place to sort of add or subtract if you should need to, or you know, just style wise you want it a little bit longer. But it actually, I designed it purposely to give you the sense of a nice waistline.
Tracy, did that give you a little answer of what you needed? Not so much. No.
So I'm wondering if the other question, when it says blocked measurement, right? So if you did your swatching, is that the question that you have?
So this, is it about the schematic? Yep. So why don't you continue to write your question in the comments, so we're not doing charades here. Okay. So she says, so I should be looking on page 12, length from hem to armhole.
Let me grab the pattern here.
I see what you're saying. So, so yeah, that total, those numbers in those parentheses would be like the total number inclusive of your shaping rows. I see Mary from Tucson, Arizona, currently in a hotel room at the Affinity Retreat in Vernon, New Jersey, zooming in with a cell phone. Everyone is asking me what I'm making. I've been telling everyone about the cashmere goat and the Schoodic Bay Cal. Yay, Mary, thank you for championing us.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, back to Tracy. She's not sure what length to start the V at.
Oh, so the V is not necessarily something that you have to start. The mid body shaping is actually what's going to help open up the top of that sweater. Is that where your question's coming from? So it's a different construction from most sweaters that you've done probably before. You're just doing sort of a round straight, and then when you get to this section, the mid body shaping is actually what helps to open up for that V.
Yep. Yep. And you're right, Tracy. It's depending on your size, it's 1.5 inches or whatever your pattern indicates before the armhole. Yep. Awesome.
Does that help?
Okay, perfect. Let's see. Susan Mulbear, got a question for us?
Oh no, I forgot to lower my hand. I already
Gotcha.
Sorry.
No problem. Ginny, I see your hand raised.
Yeah, I was kind of reading ahead because I'm going to do it with the long sleeves. And want to, where is it? It's on page, sorry, I'm getting little messages. Well, page 11. Long sleeves, and if I'm reading it correctly, it says work decrease round below every 3 rounds times, for my size, 19, because I'm the 3rd size inside the parentheses, right? So if I do the math, is that 57 rounds? 3 times 19?
Well, I don't think I can multiply it.
It is. I just checked the math. Yes, that is correct.
Yeah. So it's actually a little bit of a faster taper for the long sleeves than it is for the 3/4 length sleeves. The 3/4 length sleeves were designed to be a little bit fuller. That was a style decision. A few people have approached me and said, I really like the, extra width on the shorter 3/4 length sleeves. You can certainly choose to do, less frequent decreases and less of a gradual taper for the long sleeve. But if you do that, you will absolutely need more yarn.
Okay, so it's decrease round and then knit around, decrease round, knit around. So that's, you say every third row. So that's, am I getting that right? It's a decrease round and then 2 of knitting and then another decrease round.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Yay.
Times 19. You do
Times
that
19.
times.
Yeah.
I
Math
have a
is my,
wonderful counter on my phone that helps me with that. And this is what it'll look like. See how it tapers down?
yeah.
And so when you get right here, you start that 5-inch cuff. So I need to, you need to measure on the arm to make sure you're at the right point to start the cuff.
5-inch cuff.
Yeah.
And you probably want to try it on, right? Because remember that,
yes,
you know,
that's where I need my sister-in-law. She's out of town.
Right. Because it's got, you know, the seam, but it's also a little bit of a dropped sleeve. So you want to factor that in.
I don't know if anybody else uses Knit Companion, but
I
it's
think that's what I'm using.
amazing to use it with this pattern because it just, all the little counters on the side and everything. It's really great.
Actually, I use this one. It's called, can you see? It's pink and it's called Counter. Does it show?
No, it's just sort of like,
it's too close.
Anyway, it's pink and it's Counter and it counts the rows and how many times you repeat.
Yeah.
And that's all it does. It's wonderful.
cool.
Thank you.
Awesome. Let's see. I think it would be fun to hear where we're all at. If we can just do a speed round. So I think I'll call on folks so that we can move through our Hollywood squares. Okay, so Beth McLean, can you unmute and tell us where you're zooming in from today?
I'm zooming in from work in Philadelphia. And I had to start over because in full transparency, I didn't do a full swatch. And when I got to the moss sections, it was way too loose. So I had to go down another needle. I'm using a light worsted. So I'm just like back to here. I had actually made it to the mid body and then I did a barber cord try on and it was like, nope, not going to work.
Well, go you for having the courage to take out a knitted item that was not going to suit you. So we applaud you, Beth, for your fortitude.
I need to do a full swatch next time.
It happens to the best of us.
It does. Let's see. Next up on my screen is Bev. Can you introduce yourself to us, Bev?
Hi. Yes, I live on the Schoodic Peninsula, and we just got word that we are on a hurricane watch. New Orleans, you're getting a break for a change. Yeah, it could actually make landfall here in Maine this weekend. But so my big thing right now is to decide that if I have to evacuate, what knitting project should I take?
This is a very important question.
So I got yeah, I got word today that my yarn has been shipped. So if I still exist this time next week, I hope to show you a swatch.
Yay.
You are a stitch.
Let's see. Next up, Barbarina, do you want to tell us where you're from?
Hi there. I'm zooming in from Montpelier, Vermont. And I am doing swatch number 3, but may switch to a new yarn.
Awesome. Nice to have you here. Next, we heard from Mona. She's in Colorado, so I'm going to move on. Mary Ellen, you want to tell us where you're zooming in from for those folks who don't already know you?
I'm from Media, Pennsylvania, which is outside of Philadelphia.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Let's see. Next up, it looks like, how about Eileen Kelly? Oh, you're still muted, I think.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a laugh before I show you my knitting. Not being the computer expert, I want you all to see the old method.
Yep, that works. That works great.
I can't knit without my paper and pencil, but I'm pretty well along.
I design with paper and pencil, so.
Good. I'm moving along. I don't know whether you can see. I've got the right side done and attached, and I'm working on the left. And I'm ready to try it on. Iris, you're gonna laugh at my fake barber cord. I just used the needle.
Yep, that works.
The old school ways. And the markers, I wanted to tell the lady that was with the side markers, I've used white ones along, but then I put the two in red that were the side markers.
Oh, great idea.
And I've left these in because when you're knitting, it kind of all blurred together. And so at least this woke me up. As I say, the old school.
Awesome.
And you are where?
Yeah, you're
in California, Santa Rosa.
Santa Rosa, California. Amazing. Well, next up on my screen is Wendy. Hi, Wendy.
On my iPad, I'm not so used to it. I'm from Beverly, Massachusetts, and I think I have the same color yarn almost as. It's Patagonia, the organic Nordic blue or something like that.
Yeah,
nice. Same as the previous person. What's her name?
Anyway. Eileen.
Yes, I think it looked the same as hers.
Yeah, mine's vintage.
Oh.
Barocca's vintage.
Oh, Barocca. They look very similar.
Yeah.
Very similar. So, I'm just plodding along here. Find the markers very helpful, and just finishing up page 5, so the end of the body.
Great news, Wendy.
Thank you.
Next up, I've got Diane Allen Pierce. Hi, Diane. Welcome. Tell us where you're from.
Hello. So I'm saying hello to Susan also because I'm just across the lake in Covington, Louisiana.
Oh, wow. Ooh.
So
awesome.
Thank you. So I heard about the KAL only last week and joined in, and I ordered my yarn and I just got it today. So I'm also using the Barocco vintage. And so I rolled the ball real quick and I'm just doing my swatch. So I'm a little bit behind, but I'm going to forge on.
Well, that is awesome. You know, there's no behind here in this knit along. We're all at our own pace. We all have different lives and yep. So we're glad to have you with us. How'd you find it? How'd you find the KAL?
So I actually used the summer in Maine, and I've been to your shop before and saw it online, but one of my friends in Maine wrote me and kind of nudged me that you were having this knit along going on. So then I found out about it actually the day of your first Zoom.
Aww.
So then I ordered yarn very quickly, but I was very relieved to hear others are still working on a swatch.
Yep. Oh, definitely. Great. So welcome to you. Let's see. Next up we have, I think it's Hillary Tatum. Hi, Hillary. You want to tell us where you're from?
Yeah, hi. I'm from Maine. I live in Rome, Maine, which is outside of Augusta. And
okay, great.
But I do have a son in Ashburn, Virginia, and also my husband's uncle lives in Ashburn, Virginia. So we get to Ashburn, Virginia a couple times a year.
Fabulous.
And I'm working on my ribbing on my sweater.
Awesome. Great. So glad that you're here with us. Let's see. I think Therese, how are you? Would you like to tell us where you're from?
Sorry about that. That took a second to do that. I live in Valencia, Spain. I moved here from Bellingham, Washington. But I lived since we're on an Ashburn kick tonight, I did live in Reston. I lived in Reston, Virginia for several years and had friends who lived in Ashburn. So I am ready. I'm so excited because I am ready to, oh, by the way, I've lived here for 5 years, so I do have permanent residency now, which really means I no longer have a card that says I'm not allowed to work in Spain, which I was so proud of because I was not allowed to work here. But now I am. Still not going to work, but that's okay. So anyway, I am ready to block. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. I'm ready to, I didn't sew the sleeves yet, the 3 needle bind off. I haven't done that because I want to block it first, and then I'll do those, and then I'll do the pickup for the ribbing. Tomorrow I'm getting, because when I left the US, I sold so many things, but I don't have any blocking mats, and I've been okay without them. But I wanted them this time, and I wanted to order them in centimeters because I hate dealing with inches now. Plus, centimeters make more sense because you get more precision. But the funny thing is, the blocks here, the IQ or whatever brand that is, they sell it, it's 10 euros more for centimeters than inches. But you can buy the kind that has inches on one side and centimeters on the other, and it's 3 euros more than just the centimeters. So it's like, okay. So anyway, that arrives tomorrow. I'm going to block it, and I'm really excited because I think I told everybody I'm using the Holst.
Holst garden.
Yeah, the super soft with Titicaca, held 2 strands held with 1 strand of Titicaca. And the only issue I've had is that when I did the cast on, I did a cable cast on because there was no way I was going to do a long tail cast on with, basically 6 strands of yarn. That just was, and plus I'm also using a cone. One of my strands of the super soft or whatever it's called is on a cone. So didn't want to deal with that. But I love the cable cast on. I love the look of it, and it's not too tight, so it worked out good. But I'm really excited about the blocking because this yarn changes so much from when it really blooms. Yeah, it really does. So I'm really excited for that. So I've got a project tomorrow to work on while this one is on its blocking mat and drying. And by the way, I will join the blue party that kind of looks like the same shade as the others. And it's Mota. It's also a DK. It's a Spanish yarn. So,
cool. Yeah. Well, thank you for staying up late to join us.
Well, actually, it's only midnight, so it's
like you probably just ate dinner like 5 minutes ago, right? Like, what am I saying? Yeah.
Well, actually, the dinner thing is interesting because dinner at night is very light, so your big meal is in the afternoon. So that's
makes so much sense.
9:30 or 10. Yeah, it's not really that bad. That's not hard to get used to. So yeah, it's not late. My dogs and I will go out for a walk in a few minutes, and we're a couple hours from bedtime anyway, so it's no problem.
And are you wearing a beautiful Alper sweater?
I am. Actually, I think it's made with Drops Bell, and it's, I think, the 5th one I made.
Amazing.
Between the anchor and the Tolsta tee, that was quite a few things this summer. Yeah. So
wonderful. We're getting close to the top of the hour, but I want to make sure we can have everybody introduce. Tracy introduced herself. She's from Eustis, Maine. She popped that into the comments, and she's using she's making 1 long sleeve version in plush DK and that beautiful forage. Oh my God, that's stunning. Can you keep holding it up because I want to spotlight you?
Love it.
absolutely gorgeous.
I think that's the back side, the wrong side.
Yeah, there we go. Yep. Oh my gosh. And you know, I was worried forage might be too dark, but it looks beautiful. Look at that. And then she also said that she's making a second version, an Earth Monochrome DK, which is a cotton yarn. So that's a totally different look. Oh my gosh, look at you go with your 2 sweaters on for this Cal. I love it.
Love it.
And Monochrome DK has such a beautiful, beautiful sort of subtle blending of color. It's not striped, but it's definitely sort of moves in and out of that gradient of blue. Beautiful, beautiful job.
And Kristen told me it would work.
Oh my God, wait, we can hear you now, Tracy.
I think I finally figured it out, but Kristen told me that this Earth would work because she made, I believe, Anka.
Yeah, she made her anchor. Yep.
Yes, so I'm trying it. We'll see.
Well, and we got your audio. Yay. Oh, so good. Okay, so let's see. Now, of course, my Hollywood Square titles have totally shuffled. Let me just give a visual. Looks like Mary Ellen Mortola. We haven't heard from you.
Yes, so I'm enjoying the yarn very much. See, here's the front of it. So it's coming along really nice, and I love the color. And I just wanted to mention my shirt because my t-shirt is from Camden in a little shop. The label is Liberty Graphics, and they're the greatest shirts. I order them online.
And their little store is right near our store, our shop. It's just right a couple doors down from us. So that's awesome. Well, welcome.
And I'm from Salt Lake City.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
So glad to have you again for another Cal. So, okay, now my brain is going. Lori, did you tell us where you're from? I can't remember now. Oh, unmute. Go the other way.
Okay. I'm the one from Ashburn. So
that's right, Ashburn. You're the one that kicked us off with Ashburn. Thank you. Thank you, Lori. And Teresa, you want to hop on and tell us where you're from?
Yep, sure. I'm from coastal Virginia, rural area of Virginia.
Virginia is strongly represented in this Zoom right here. Love it. And Lucy's got camera off, so I don't know, Lucy, if you have the ability to hop on and tell us where you're joining us from.
I don't know how. I couldn't figure out how to get my picture up today, and all of a sudden the miniature dachshund is having a fit. Looking out the window. I'm from Pottsville, Pennsylvania, and I'm at the bottom of page 5 too. I'm going to be starting the decreases, I think, soon. I'm using on the round, always a bridesmaid.
Oh, that's done. That'll be beautiful.
Yeah, I'll try to figure out how to get the picture for next time. I just don't know what to do.
All right, well, that's cool. For next time. Let's see. So Alice, I think you told us last week, but you want to tell us where you're from?
So I'm from just north of Boston, actually, Melrose, Massachusetts. So, but I'm in Camden a pretty fair amount because we really love it up there.
Yay. How about, is it Shalonda? Are you with us tonight? I think your camera
It's
off.
Fanny.
Oh, Fanny, thank you. Fanny, that's right. Your screen name was like Stanley Shalonda, and I was like, wait, I don't think that's the right name.
I'm on the road with my husband riding through Minnesota. I have a migraine today.
Oh, I'm sorry. So you're probably not able to do any knitting, I'm guessing, which is too bad.
No.
What are you working on? Are you doing the Schoodic with us this time?
I ain't doing it right now. I gotta wait I'm going to a festival this week, DFW, and then maybe I'll do it after that.
Well, we would love to see what you come up with, because whatever you're knitting, I always love seeing the yarns you have and what you're up to making. I think it'll be awesome.
All right. Thank you.
And I hope that your migraine goes away too. It's nice to have you joining us from the road. Fanny, for those of you that don't know, lives on the road a lot with a truck driving husband. So it's pretty cool to have a mobile Zoomer inner on the road.
A mobile zooming coat.
Yeah, exactly. Mobile zooming knitting friend here online. Well, we still hope that someday you'll make it up to Maine, Fanny, on your long travels.
I will.
Super. Did I miss anybody? Oh my gosh, yes. Thank you. Jenny, tell us where you're from.
I live in Maplewood, New Jersey, and I was actually on my way up to Rockland because we were sailing on the Riggin like 2 weeks ago. And I went and saw my aunt, who's 98 years old, in Lowell, Massachusetts, and went to a museum there. And I bumped into this lovely woman I was learning how they used to spin cotton. I said something about being a knitter, and this woman said, I'm a knitter too. And I turned around, and who was it but our very own pattern designer? I couldn't believe, I said, oh, did you just design a pattern that's going to be a knit along for a store? I couldn't even speak. I said to my husband, it was like I met Derek Jeter. I mean, I was just so excited. I was so excited. And we had the best time talking, and I met her granddaughter, and we swapped Instagrams, and yeah, it was wonderful to meet Alice. And then, so we were on the Riggin, and we came in for the Windjammer Festival. And I stopped in the shop that day, but we were on a really tight schedule, so I didn't get to buy anything, which I think I need to go back to Maine. It's just a mere 8 hours, I mean, I could do
problem. Yeah, just zip up here. It's worth it.
Totally.
So, and actually, I was in your shop 2 years ago when we were in Maine, and I have been following the Riggin since I read about sailing knitting trips, like 5 or 6 years ago at Vogue Knitting in New York. So I've been following it, and then I went in your shop 2 years ago, and then I met Alice. So it's like, it's what's supposed to happen, right?
It's meant to be. You're definitely a remote goat now. That's what we call our folks who are far away. And that was coined by somebody in a knit along, and I should know this so I can attribute that little phrase, but we love it. We have stickers now that say I'm a remote goat. So yep. But yeah, well, it's after 6, but this has been awesome. Anybody have any last minute questions we can answer before we wrap this up? We're good. Well, oh, is that Therese? Hi, Therese.
Sorry, is next week the last Zoom meeting?
No, we'll have 2 more. We're just midway here. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And so for the final meeting, what we usually like to do is do some sort of a little showcase. So, as we approach that, I'll put a call out for, hey, even if you're not done, send me a picture of your progress, and I'll put together a little slideshow for us to take a peek at, and we can bring your own beverage, and we'll do a little toast. But anyway, yeah, well, really, really happy to see so many of you tonight. Thank you, Alice, for being here with us again.
My pleasure. When I can, I will be.
It's really, it is such a benefit to all of us to have our designer able to attend. Even if you can't attend all the time, it's just so much fun to be able to share fielding these questions with you as well.
Can I just pop in here for just a second and say how much I've enjoyed this pattern, Alice? You are amazing. The work that you put together. This is the most unique way to build a sweater, and it's brilliant. You've done a great job, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Thank you very much. Actually, I'm thrilled to hear you say that. And when I first sent it to my tech editor and we were talking about it, she's like, Allie, I don't think anybody's done a design quite like this. It's like a different construction. And I've seen in all my grading classes and all of my tech editing classes, and I was like, I don't know. I just was trying to make it easy and accessible for everybody. And I'm thrilled that you enjoy it.
Well, and if you just follow the instructions, you've done a brilliant job in writing the instructions too. It seems a little confusing, but just do what she says and you'll be perfectly fine.
And again, I want to shout out to my friend and tech editor, Annie Lynn, because we work very closely together, and there are a lot of behind the scene things that you would never know. We go back and forth several times regarding grading and tweaking and how I envision it to look for everyone across all sizes. So it's there's a lot of
she's a jewel. Hang on to her.
She is. Oh yeah, we taught together. There's no breaking us apart.
Well, thank you very much from all of us. Thank you very much.
I'll pass it on to Annie.
Great. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys, and we'll see you next Wednesday, and happy knitting in the meantime. If you've got any questions that pop up for you, just send them via email, and we'll catch up next week. Thanks so much.
Bye, y'all.
Everyone.
Bye.
Bye.